You poured months of capital, sweat, and late nights into launching your flagship product, only to watch the initial surge of sales flatline into a frustrating plateau. The churn rate is accelerating, support tickets are piling up with the exact same recurring complaints, and the silence from your most valuable users is deafening. This is the exact moment where most entrepreneurs panic and make a fatal miscalculation. They assume the issue is a lack of visibility. They pour more money into ad spend, hire aggressive sales teams, and try to force growth through sheer marketing volume. But throwing more leads at a leaking bucket will never fix the hole at the bottom. The operational chaos you are experiencing is not a marketing problem. It is a fundamental failure to listen. When your business feels like it is constantly putting out fires, the root cause is almost always a disconnected system. You are operating on assumptions rather than data. Many promising products fail not because they are inherently bad, but because businesses do not truly listen to their users. A broken or ignored customer feedback loop means product development is guided by internal guesswork, not actual market needs. This leads directly to wasted resources on features nobody uses, a failure to achieve product-market fit, and ultimately, market irrelevance. If you want to stop the bleeding, you must recognize that customer feedback is not just a nice-to-have metric for the support team. It is the core engine of your product strategy. Achieving product-market fit is the holy grail of business growth. It is the critical inflection point where your product perfectly satisfies a strong market demand, making sales feel effortless and retention automatic. But product-market fit is rarely achieved on the first try. It is not a static destination you reach through a lucky guess. It is a dynamic state maintained through rigorous, continuous alignment with your users. The critical role of customer feedback in product-market fit cannot be overstated. Feedback is the raw data that tells you exactly how far you are from that perfect alignment. Without a systemic way to capture, analyze, and act on that data, you are flying blind in a storm. Let us examine what happens when this data is mishandled. In many organizations, feedback exists in isolated operational silos. The sales team hears exactly why prospects say no during pitches, the customer service team fields angry complaints about recurring bugs, and the marketing team tracks engagement drop-offs. Yet none of this critical information ever reaches the product developers in a structured, actionable format. This operational chaos creates a massive disconnect. The product team continues building based on the original roadmap, entirely unaware that the market's needs have shifted beneath their feet. The result is a bloated product, frustrated customers, and a burned-out team working incredibly hard on all the wrong things. To transform this chaos into predictable success, you must build an operational system dedicated entirely to feedback. This is your customer feedback loop. A feedback loop is a continuous process of gathering user input, analyzing it for actionable insights, implementing changes based on those insights, and then communicating those changes back to the users. This cannot be an ad hoc effort or a spreadsheet updated once a quarter. It must be an engineered workflow, deeply embedded into your daily operations. The goal is to create a frictionless pipeline where the voice of the customer flows directly into the decision-making centers of your business. The foundation of this pipeline requires the right technological infrastructure. You must implement a CRM, or Customer Relationship Management System. A CRM is a central software platform used to track and manage all interactions and data related to your customers and prospects. For larger operations, this data might feed directly into an ERP, or Enterprise Resource Planning System, which integrates all core business processes into a unified suite. When properly configured, your CRM becomes the single source of truth for customer sentiment. Every support ticket, feature request, and survey response must be logged here. But simply storing the data is not enough. The CRM must be integrated with your project management tools, ensuring that when a critical mass of users requests a specific improvement, that data automatically triggers a review task for the product team. With the infrastructure in place, you must standardize how you collect this vital intelligence. Relying on passive feedback, simply waiting for customers to complain, is a reactive strategy that only captures the most frustrated voices. You need proactive, systematic collection points. Implement automated Net Promoter Score surveys after key milestones in the customer journey. Trigger in-app micro-surveys when a user interacts with a new feature for the first time. Schedule regular, in-depth user research interviews with your most active clients to understand their workflow and their daily pain points. By systematizing these collection methods, you guarantee a steady, reliable stream of data entering your feedback engine. Once the data is flowing, the next operational hurdle is analysis. Raw feedback is overwhelming and often contradictory. One user wants a simpler interface while another demands highly complex customization. To process this efficiently, you must develop strict categorization protocols. Tag every piece of feedback in your CRM by category, such as usability, pricing, missing features, or performance bugs. Assign weight to these tags based on the customer's lifetime value and the frequency of the request. This quantitative approach strips the emotion out of product decisions. It allows your team to clearly see that while a loud minority is asking for a niche feature, 68.5% of your enterprise clients are actually churning due to a specific integration failure. This categorized data must then route directly into your development cycles. This is where process optimization bridges the gap between insight and action. Establish a recurring operational meeting, often called a feedback triage, where leaders from product, engineering, and customer success review the highest priority data. During this triage, you are not just looking at isolated complaints, you are identifying systemic patterns. When a pattern emerges, it is translated into a specific, actionable task on the product roadmap. This seamless transfer of information ensures that your development resources are always deployed against the most valuable problems. This structured routing creates a powerful environment for iterative development. Instead of disappearing for 6 months to build a massive update that may or may not hit the mark, your team begins releasing smaller, targeted improvements based directly on user requests. Iterative development minimizes risk. You build a feature, release it to a segment of users, gather immediate feedback through your established loop, and refine it. This rapid cycle of testing and learning is the only reliable methodology for dialing in true product-market fit. It transforms product development from a high-stakes gamble into a predictable, manageable science. Consider the trajectory of a typical software company struggling with user adoption. They originally built an incredibly robust analytics platform, assuming their users wanted deep, complex data manipulation. But their feedback system, once properly implemented, revealed a starkly different reality. The data showed that 80% of users were logging in, feeling entirely overwhelmed by the complex dashboard, and logging out within 3 minutes. The feature requests flooding the newly established CRM were not for more complexity, but for simple, automated summary reports. The market did not want a tool to analyze data. They wanted the answers handed to them on a silver platter. Because this company had a functional feedback loop, they caught this disconnect before they ran out of capital. They pivoted their entire engineering focus overnight. They paused development on advanced features and rapidly deployed a simplified, automated reporting dashboard. The result was immediate. User engagement skyrocketed, churn dropped significantly, and they finally achieved the product-market fit that had eluded them for a year. This pivot was not driven by a visionary guess in a boardroom. It was a direct, calculated response to systematically collected and analyzed customer data. The system saved the product from total failure. As that success scales, the volume of feedback will inevitably multiply. A system that works for 1,000 users will buckle under the weight of 100,000. The operational challenge shifts from capturing data to filtering massive amounts of noise. You will face conflicting demands from entirely different user segments. Enterprise clients will demand rigorous security features, while small businesses will beg for lower pricing tiers. Without a rigid framework, this volume of conflicting data will paralyze your product team, leading to a fragmented product that tries to please everyone and ultimately satisfies no one. To survive this scaling phase, you must introduce SOPs, or Standard Operating Procedures. SOPs are documented step-by-step instructions that dictate exactly how a routine task should be performed. You need SOPs for how feedback is prioritized against your core business objectives. If a feature request does not align with your strategic roadmap, the SOP dictates that it is logged but deprioritized regardless of how many small users request it. Furthermore, applying principles like Lean Six Sigma, a methodology focused on eliminating defects and reducing variation in processes, can drastically streamline how feedback moves from the support desk to the engineering sprint. By treating feedback processing as a measurable supply chain, you eliminate bottlenecks and ensure rapid deployment of critical fixes. Implementing these advanced systems requires a fundamental shift in leadership mindset. You must foster a culture where negative feedback is celebrated as a strategic asset, not feared as a personal attack on the product team. When a customer points out a flaw, they are giving you the exact blueprint required to keep their business. Leaders must ensure that the teams analyzing this data are empowered to challenge original assumptions. If the data proves that a beloved legacy feature is now obsolete, the system must have the authority to sunset that feature. Operational efficiency demands ruthless objectivity, driven purely by what the market dictates. Ultimately, a robust customer feedback loop is your most potent competitive advantage. Competitors can copy your marketing campaigns, they can reverse engineer your features, and they can undercut your pricing. But they cannot replicate the deep systemic understanding you have of your specific user's evolving needs. When your product is continuously shaped by the very people using it, it becomes indispensable. You transition from pushing a product onto the market to having the market pull the product from you. This is the definition of sustainable success, and it is entirely engineered through the operational discipline of listening. Building this operational engine requires confronting the inefficiencies hiding in plain sight. It means looking critically at how information flows, or fails to flow, through your organization. It requires moving away from reactive firefighting and committing to proactive system design. The transition is rarely comfortable, but it is the only path out of the chaos of stalled growth. If you're struggling to align your product with the market, the answer is not to speak louder or market harder. The answer is to build a better system for listening and adapting to what you hear. If your business feels chaotic, it's not because you need more leads, it's because your systems aren't built to handle growth. Most business owners try to fix this by doing more themselves, which only slows everything down. Before you hire more people or spend more on marketing, you need the right structure in place. We'll take a look at your business and show you where things are breaking and what to fix first. If we can help implement it, we'll tell you exactly how. If not, you'll still walk away knowing what's holding you back. No pressure, just clarity. Click the link in the description of this video to get your free evaluation today.